So basically, what I'm gonna be doing in this video is sharing my personal testimony, or my basically my little background, and then my testimony of my vision of basically going to hell, or like what it would kind of look like that I was given from God. And so, all right, so I'll just basically start off with like my background. So like basically growing up, I was basically what you would consider an atheist. Because I didn't really believe in God. Well, I mean, okay, I wouldn't necessarily say I didn't believe, but I was like the typical person that was like, well, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen the proof and the facts and all that garbage, so therefore he's not real. So I was basically just, one of those. And so, and for, okay, so like I'm 18, gonna be turning 19 here in like a week, about. And so this all started, okay, basically what I'm saying is I'm young still, right? So at the time of like this whole vision taking place and all this was about like a year and a little bit more than a half ago. It's like a year and like 8 months ago ish, because it was on New Year's Eve of 2017. So it was, So basically, like I said, growing up, like I didn't really actually ever go to church myself. My family didn't really either. Like my mom's side kind of does and all that, but like my own direct family doesn't ever. We'd go like maybe like on Christmas or Easter growing up, and then basically after like the age of like I don't know, like 10 or 11, we just stopped completely. So basically, this way, like my background is not really believing in God. So for the ones that are like, well, this all took place because you already predisposed to it all. Well, no, that's not true, because like I said, I never actually myself believed whatsoever. I thought always growing up, I was like, well, if there is a God, then when I'm older and I'm like 80 on my deathbed, then that's when I'll get right with God and find out that garbage then. So then I was like, so that's basically just my mindset growing up. And I was, because I never really pictured myself dying young or anything like that. Like nobody really thinks they're gonna die young. So that's why basically for me, I was just like, yeah, no, I'll do what I want now while I'm young, whatever. So basically, senior year, or no, throughout all of high school, I literally like never did anything that bad, like whatsoever. Like no drugs, nothing, never partied, nothing like that. And then after my soccer season ended, senior year, so about like a few months after soccer, or I mean, after my senior year started, I finally like, for the first time, had drink and smoke and all that. And so like, I finally started, and I have like an addictive personality, so I started getting into it real quick. And so basically, I would just, it started off as a little bit, but then it started getting more and more. And I basically became like this huge like addict to marijuana and slowly more alcohol. But then, so basically, my whole like direct vision that I'm gonna be talking about, like I said, started on New Year's Eve. So then I'll just basically begin that now. So basically, it was just, I went to one of my friend's houses, and I went there basically because I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'll just go there. We'll just like smoke, play video games or something, whatever. And I was like, and I'll just like stay the night there. And that's just what I'll do on like New Year's Eve, because I didn't really have like any other plans. And so I get to his house, and then and then another person was there, another one of my friends. And so, well, I mean, I didn't know he was gonna be there, but like it didn't really matter, because I was like, okay, whatever, we'll just like still, bull around. But so then I get there, and then we smoke a little bit, and I was like a little bit high, just doing fine. But like, for me, before like this whole night happened, like leading up to this point, I already was like a huge like marijuana enthusiast, basically. I literally would like smoke all the time at this point. I built up like an extremely high tolerance. So like smoking a little bit doesn't do much to me, you know. Even smoking a lot still it would it I basically had to smoke an insane amount at this point in order to get like really baked. And there's other times where like I had smoked where I was like hallucinating. Like I've like hallucinated off marijuana before because that's like basically as intense as it gets. Is just you get like minor hallucinations and stuff like that. Um, and so I've like hallucinated pretty hard off of just like marijuana. Where like one time I literally like turned into a chair. Like I just like watched myself become a chair. Like the one I was sitting in, I literally couldn't move, and there was like chairs spinning above my head, and all that. But like during this time when I was like tripping off this marijuana, literally I still knew I was like high. Like I knew I was like, okay, I'm just like really baked. Like it'll be over, whatever. I just gotta like enjoy it, you know. And so I was never like, you know, spooked by it. I never really thought I was gonna be a chair forever. I was just kind of like, hey, I'm just like a chair. Like I don't know how long this is gonna be, but I'm just a chair. And so there's other crazy things that I've gone through um, while I was smoking. So and like the reason I'm saying this is because this way you understand that I've like I said, I've tripped pretty hard. Like the people that I've smoked with before, a lot of them know this. Like some of the ones I first started smoking with, they know how hard I would trip for no reason. Like I'd smoke even, like I'd smoke and then for some reason like I don't know. I guess marijuana just affects me differently than most people. Where I'll just like I'll trip hard. But like I said, every time I would trip, I would know I'm tripping every time. Like it's a different feeling when you're high compared to what I felt this night during like this vision. All right, so like I said, back to like the whole vision. So all right, me and my two friends, we smoke a little bit, and then one of my friends rolls up another blunt, and he's like, all right, let's go upstairs into the garage and smoke this blunt, and then he's like, and then let's go to like a party or something like that, and so I was the one that was supposed to be driving because they didn't have their cars, and so I was like, all right, but then I was like, well, I don't really want to smoke that blunt though, because I was like, since I am the one driving, I was like even though what I already smoked, like I was like, you know, I was like high, but I wasn't like baked, like, you know, brain dead. So I was like, okay, I can still function. Like I can still drive everyone around. It's just like I was like, I don't want to like start smoking a lot before I um go drive because I was like, I don't want to die. I don't want to literally crash and kill everyone. So I was like, okay, I'll just like take like a few hits off of the blunt, whatever, and then we'll like go. And so as I'm like walking up the stairs, because we're in his basement, so like we're walking up the stairs after he rolls up the blunt, going upstairs to go outside. And like as I'm getting up to the top of the stairs, I like go to reach for the door handle to open it up, you know, and all of a sudden like I freeze, and like my two friends that were like at my house, or not my house, at his house that I was talking about, they were like walking up the stairs behind me, and all of a sudden like I freeze and like reality just stops basically, and like the fun little high that I was experiencing all of a sudden just depletes, like it's just gone now, and instantly I'm um like I'm just like okay, and then instantly I feel like my soul, like I feel instantly my soul like start gravitating basically, like the feeling of my soul increasing out of my body basically, and I start like instantly I'm like I died. I was like I don't know how I just died. I was like I'm literally just on stairs right now. All of a sudden I died. Like okay, so it's basically like this feeling like if someone were to smack you across the face, you wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, what happened? Did I get smacked across the face? Or like no, you would just automatically know. Okay, you got smacked across the face, right? You don't have to like think about it. You just know. And it was the same with this feeling where like instantly I just knew I died, and instantly like I like the feeling of like what death would be like if you were to actually like, go through. And so instantly I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. Like I was like, how did I die young? I was like, you know, like I said, nobody thinks they're gonna die young. And then I was like, how is it me? How was I the one that died young out of like all the people I know? And so I was like, well, I'm not ready to die. I was like, I was like, oh no, and instantly, the reason why I was saying like, oh, I'm not ready to die, is because instantly my soul started to realize what really happens when you die, and instantly I get like this feeling behind me. Basically, like imagine like if the Grim Reaper was standing behind you, like death itself was like literally right behind you, and you just it's like this horrific feeling that like you can't forget it because, like I said, it's just it's another like feeling that unless you experience it, you can't really understand it. But just imagine, like I said, like the Grim Reaper is behind you, and it's just like this awful, like just the most demonic, horrid feeling you can imagine. And so all of a sudden I'm like on the stairs, right? And oh, also just like a little side note, I don't know like if you guys have ever heard of like the analogy kind of where like this idea of like heaven is upstairs, hell is downstairs, right? Like oh, when you die, you either go upstairs or downstairs, whatever. Um, so so the reason why I want to say this, like all of this started, like I said, was on a staircase when I was in the basement going up the stairs, and then okay, just wanted to like say that. Anyways, so like I was saying, I'm walking, or no, I'm on walking. So yeah, I'm about to open up the door, right, and all of a sudden, like I said, all of a sudden my soul, I feel like myself basically die, and instantly, like I said, the Grim Reaper kind of feeling behind me. And so I don't want to turn around because I don't want to see it. I was like, I know what's behind me, which is death. And I was like, and I don't want to, like, I just don't want to see what's about to happen next when I turn around. Because it was like, I was just like, I just don't want to. I was like, I got to get out of here. Basically thinking, I was like, oh, I can escape this moment if I just walk through this door. And so as I'm like about to like open up the door, I like kind of stop and I just like turn around just like a little bit, just like this much, just kind of like peek a little bit. I'm like, ooh, if I just get a little peek, I'll see what's behind me, but I don't want to turn around all the way. But even like when I turn like this, when I look back, all of a sudden the doorway, like the door, like this one behind me, the door, it's literally now a wall. There's just a wall. There's nothing there. There's no entrance, no exit, nothing. It's just all complete wall, and I'm at a dead end now. And instantly, I'm like, oh no. I was like, I just missed my opportunity, and this is actually like about to go down. And so, um, basically, then I'm like, okay, now I have to turn around because I'm literally at a dead end. Like I can't just like stand here forever staring at a wall. So I was like, basically, I was like, okay, I'm literally being forced to now go through this experience and go through what's about to happen next. I'm about to literally see what the afterlife is. And so, as I fully start to turn around now, because like I said, there's no other option, all of a sudden, instantly, my soul leaves my body. And instantly, I forget like what I look like as a human. Like I forget completely of my features, everything. I forget like everything I ever did in my lifetime leading up to this point. And except the only thing that I remembered leading up to this point was all the sin I did and all the bad, all like the lying, all like stealing, drugs, whatever leading up to this point throughout my life. Anything like porn or anything like that, just all of it. That's the only thing that was going through like my soul's consciousness, mind kind of thing. Because I was like, oh, that's because like I said, I never actually believe in God, heaven, hell, none of that. But when you think about it, when you die, there's only one thing that's going to happen, right? So, and a lot of people are like, well, nobody knows for sure, right? And so, but going through this, I was like, oh, well, now I get to see what it's about to be like. Whatever this afterlife is gonna be, I get to experience it firsthand. I was like, well, here I am going through it, and like I said, instantly my soul, unfortunately, understood what was going on because, like I said, there's only one truth, one thing that actually happens when you die, and that is heaven or hell, which I know now, and so my my soul instantly starts like screaming, and like I even like it was weird for because the present or it was like basically different angles that I was like seeing this all play through at different points. So like right when my soul left my body, I was seeing my own face. Like I was like looking at my own face. Like right now, like I'm like looking at the camera. I see my own face. This is basically how it looked. Like I was my actual perspective was looking at my own face, and my face was like screaming, pleading for mercy. And like the thing is, like I said, never believed in Jesus, none of that before all this. Instantly, my soul left my body. Instantly, my soul knew who to go to, who to plead to for mercy and forgiveness and another chance, which was Jesus. Because, like I said, there's only one truth when that happens when you die, right? And like I said, once you die, you get to see it. And my soul got to see it. And so, like I said, my soul's like pleading for mercy, and like I even like remember what I looked like when my soul left my body. Like I remember like my face of what my soul was. And like I found there's the only picture I've ever found that was like extremely accurate to it was it's off this album, a Trippy Red album. Um, I think the album's called like Life is a Trip. And when you go to that, like if you want to like Google it and see for yourself, it's on like the top left-ish corner, and it's like this like white, ghostly kind of like soul-looking figure, and his face is like it looks like he's like screaming, and like crying out for like help, basically. And like that's literally exactly what my face looked like. It was like insane. It was like somebody took a picture of my face in that moment and put it on that album. So yeah, if you want to go Google it, you can. But anyway, so yeah, now like I said, my soul left my body. I was fully turned around, and all of a sudden, where my two friends were, now there's like these two huge, black demonic figures, and like they're just like it's only pure evil in them, basically, because that's like what a demon is. It's literally only evil. There's like no good in it. It's the absence of anything good. It's only evil. And so where my two friends were now like these two demonic, disgusting forms of them. And they're looking at me and they're laughing and smiling, and then they look at each other and like laugh and smile, and like it goes back and forth like this. And basically what they're doing is like they're like mocking me, like laughing, like haha, we got this guy, we got his soul. We deceived him, basically, to hell, and there's no chance he can ever escape, because that's what happens when you die, right? You either go to hell or heaven forever and ever. And so they're like, yes, we got one more soul to go with us to hell. And so I was like even more horrified, because I was like, this can't be real. Like this can't actually be happening. I was like, this has to be. I was like, even though deep down I knew what was happening was, I was like, hey, I can't just stop this. Like this isn't just like a bad trip right now. This is like actually really happening. And so then my soul starts like getting consumed with like this feeling of eternal separation from God, because what God is like literally anything that's good. That is what God is, which might not make a lot of sense if you don't understand what I mean by that. But basically, like, because right now on earth, even if you don't think God is real or anything like that, or like the presence of God, whatever, but whether you believe it or not, the presence of God is literally in this world still, like that is why this world isn't, like obviously this world seems terrible, but trust me, it's not nearly as terrible as you might think it could be. So instantly my soul starts feeling this eternal separation, because my soul, like I said, knew instantly that I'm going to be in this place forever, and like there's no way that can come get me. There's no, I can't like go warn anyone, tell anyone about it. I'm just screwed forever. And instantly, like, and honestly, I've like seen other people's testimonies about this kind of stuff after my own instance, my own vision about this. And, like a lot of them talk about the same thing, like the feeling of being eternally trapped is like the most horrifying part, because no matter what you try to do, you can't ever leave, and you can't ever like even get like a moment to escape or nothing like that. So my like I said, my soul looking at these demons, they're laughing at me, whatever. And then I look over to my right, which is, like I said, where it's still on like a staircase though. So like basically what this vision is, it's like a vision over reality. Which I know to everybody that's gonna try to disprove this, they're gonna say, well, that's a hallucination. That's all you were doing was hallucinating, because nobody wants it. Well, a lot of people just don't want to believe in God and all that. Even though a lot of people nowadays, they get visions, stuff like that, they go try and preaching, but people still, the sinner just doesn't want to listen, because they just don't want to believe in God, because then in their minds it means that they can do whatever they want and they're not held accountable for nothing, and they can just die and everything will cease to exist and everything's all happy at the end of the day for them. But that's not the case, and like I said, heaven or hell. But anyways, So yeah, so like I look over to my right at the and his basement or the staircase in his basement. It in real life and all that, like it's completely just normal blank white wall, all the way down. But when I was going through like this vision thing, when my soul, like I said, was already out of my body, and like in my soul form, I like look over at the wall, and now there's a bunch of like picture frames like all the way down the wall, all the way down. And in these picture frames, it says things like, "Oh, you died," like hell, like these things like more mockery of me, because like I said, like the devil, the demons, they finesse me, and so they're just like getting like their last laugh at me before I'm like taken away to hell. And so then I see this and I'm like, this is like even another, like, then the fear increases even more basically, because I'm like, this isn't even a joke. Like, I don't know how it could be a joke, but like, now I've seen another thing that's just confirming more like, oh yeah, I'm screwed. This is actually real. This is actually what's going on right now, and this isn't just like a bad trip. Like, no, everything is horrible. Because, like I said in the very beginning, when this all started, the high, the little high that I was experiencing was instantly gone. And that's when it all started. But, so yeah, so after I'm like looking at these picture frames and I'm just like even more horrified, I like look back over at like the staircase, and all of a sudden, like the two demon, or my two friends that were, like I said, like the demonic forms of them were gone all of a sudden. And I was like, okay, like where did they go? But then I was like, but the door behind me, or like the wall, the door that turned into a wall still was a wall, so it was still a dead end. So the only option for me to go was down the stairs. Like I said, that analogy of heaven is upstairs and hell is downstairs. So I had to go downstairs. That was my eternal destination. Was downstairs. Go downstairs. Go to hell. And so I started like going down the stairs in my soul form, and like I get to the bottom of the stairs and like I look across the room and I like peek around the corner. I'm like looking and I see like the two or the two demon friend dudes that I was talking about. Now they're like on the other side of the room, and they're like standing there looking at each other, and they're doing the thing again where like they're laughing, they look at each other and smile. And as I'm like looking at them, then they look across the room and look at me again. So more mockery basically is what it is. And and then all of a sudden I get like teleported back to the top of the staircase, and all of a sudden I have to go through that moment again where like I re-walk down the stairs and I like look around the corner like that, and I see them again looking at me, laughing and all that. And I keep replaying this, and like it keeps happening where I get re-teleported back up, and it happens over and over and over where I just keep going through that moment and playing it out. And all of a sudden like my own perspective changes where now it was basically like a camera. Like my vision was now from the point view of a camera. So like if there's like a camera like mounted on this wall, that was like where I was seeing. Like I would see my own body, or like not my body, my own like soul still walk down the stairs and like look around the corner and like see the demons laughing and all that, and I like see that keep happening now from like the point of view of like a camera on a wall. And like I said, though, it kept happening where I'd like watch my own soul get teleported back up, and I was just sitting there and I just wanted it to stop, because I was like, I don't want to keep watching this. I want this all to go away. I want to go back to normal. Like, I want out of this place. And, but like I said, it just wouldn't stop. And I remember one of the times when my soul got to the very bottom of the stairs again, like looked around the corner, I remember like asking like out loud to like the demons. I was like, so is this like what my eternal punishment is? I was like, do I literally have to rewatch this moment play on repeat forever? And I was like, because at the time I was like, this is kind of weird. I figured hell would be, the whole fire kind of thing. And so that's why I was like even more confused during this time. And I was like, so is this actually what I'm about to experience forever? This one moment playing over and over where I like watch myself, like that the moment basically when I died, like the whole instance of the whole scenery of where I died. I have to rewatch this over and over. And so I was like, okay, like this is like this. It was terrible, because imagine like you just rewatch the same moment play over and over forever. That's awful, right? Like you might seem like, oh, that's not that bad, but like you watch it 100 times, and then like I said, you realize you're never leaving. You're never like, you have to rewatch this forever. And so just the thought of eternity of something that isn't fun is bad. And that was not fun. And then so eventually though it stopped and I was teleported back to the top of the stairs this time, but I wasn't forced to walk down the stairs. Um and all of a sudden I was like, I was like, oh, is it over? Like, am I free to go? Like, did it work? Am I back? Can I like now basically go back onto Earth, and like uh do whatever I want now? But no, it was still only the beginning of it all. And so now when I'm back, or at the time when I got teleported back to the top of the staircase and like the whole like repeating scenario stopped, I was all of a sudden like literally shot back into my own body, right? But like everything wasn't normal still. Oh no, I was still like this like I said, like this idea of like a vision over reality. So it was like basically what you would imagine two dimensions like lined up next to each other, two like veils of reality. It's like one's demonic, one's normal, and I had to watch it through the demonic and the normal. So like my point of view was demonic, and everything around me was demonic. No matter if I was in my soul form or body, everything was still evil. And so, like I said, so okay, back in my body now on top of the stairs, and I walk up, or as I'm like looking down the staircase, and I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, like what's about to happen next? Like, I'm like, I don't know. And so all of a sudden I feel like this another presence behind me, and I feel the door come back, and it's like the most like holiest, amazing presence ever. I was like, oh, this is the door to heaven. That just came back behind me. Like the doorway that was gone, it's now back, and it's the door to heaven. So I was like, this is my chance to leave and to escape hell while I can. So I like as I start to like turn around to go reach for the door to heaven, um I hear my two friends, which like I said, the demon forms of them. I hear one of them say to the other like, "Don't let him go. Grab him," or something along those lines of like basically don't let him open that door and leave. And I hear that I'm like, oh no, I'm going. So I literally open up the door and I start running. Um, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm getting away. I'm gonna go to heaven now. Like everything will be over and I can now just be in heaven. And but no. And so like as I'm like running through, where his like living room is and all that, I'm like running through the kitchen now, because the door that I was wanting to leave out of. Because in my mind I was thinking like, oh, if I get out of the house, then I fully escape hell. Because like when I walked through the door to go to, or like the doorway to heaven, when I walked through that door, it wasn't actually heaven. It was just like my at this point, once I walked through, I realized it wasn't heaven, and it was basically just my escape route, which in my mind seemed like heaven at the time, because I was like, getting out of here is equivalent to going to heaven at this point, even if it's back on Earth. So it's like this place is like the worst thing anyone could ever even possibly try to imagine. So, yeah, as I'm like running through the kitchen, all that, thinking, oh, I know which doorway to leave out of, so I can like hop in my car and like drive out of hell, basically. um, so as I'm like running through the kitchen, I stop and like, because the the person that owned the house, his mom, was like walking around the corner too of the kitchen, and I froze. And like I said though, like even like his mom and like his whole family, everyone like had like the demonic form of them. Nobody that I saw in that house during this time, like the vision, was normal. Everybody had um their uh, basically like their alternate self, their alternate demonic form of them, that was like created for like me to see in this moment. So that's why the whole vision thing, like I said, to help wake up my soul. It's like I said, like a wake up call is what this is. Like other people get vision, stuff like that. Their soul, like God's like, hey, you need to wake up and realize what's going on around you, and this is your one and only chance basically to see it. So take it in while you can. Like I said, during this whole time, I'm still thinking like I'm never actually escaping. I was thinking like, I'm gonna try to escape, but at the end of the day, I'm probably not gonna be able to, and I'm probably gonna be trapped here forever. But like even the tiniest amount of hope of me being able to like jump in my car and like driving away, I was thinking like, maybe there's a chance that it'll work. So I was like, I gotta do all I can to try to take that chance. So, alright, sorry I get sidetracked so much. But alright, so as I'm like running through the kitchen, like I said, his mom walks on the corner, I'm like running, I like stop right in front of her. And all of a sudden, like, I pass out now back into my soul form, basically. And as I'm like kind of like blowing like this like darkness soul form, all of a sudden like I wake back up, and now I'm like back in my body, and like now my friend and his mom are dragging me, or like his mom's like holding me like by this arm, and my friend's holding me by this arm, and like they're like carrying me like this, back in the basement now. And so like I'm like sitting there, and like as I start to wake up, I'm like, oh, what's going on? I was like, oh no, they're carrying me back now downtown. I was like, I missed my opportunity to leave, because I like was, as I was about to leave, like the guard demon like stopped me, his mom, um, and then she like basically like knocked. I was thinking, I was like, oh, she must have like knocked me out, or like done something to where now I've missed my opportunity to leave, because now I'm back downstairs, back into the more horrific form of basically hell. Because in my mind I'm thinking like, oh, what they're trying to do is like take me down to further levels of hell, basically. Like I was like, oh, if they get me to like this, there's gonna be like this new room all of a sudden where it's gonna like lead to more rooms that go deeper down. And once I'm like further down into hell, like the further down I go, even the less of a chance I have of escaping. And so like as I'm like sitting there, like I'm just listening to them, they're talking, and like the tone of their voices though, it wasn't like normal. It was like the most like disgusting demonic tone you could imagine. Like everything they'd say, there was like you could like hear the evilness behind it, like the true evil behind it. Like even if someone were to be like talking like they want to go like do something bad to someone, you think like, oh yeah, that's pretty evil. The things you're saying, like yes, that's evil or that's bad, but that's not like like demonic evil, like demonic evil as in like I can't even really describe it, but you just gotta like try to imagine it, I guess, for yourself. But it's just horrible. And so I'm like listening to them, and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like listen to their plans of what they're gonna try to do to me, because they think I'm like passed out or whatever. And so I'm gonna like find like a little loophole opportunity in their plans, and I'm gonna be able to take my chance at that opportunity and escape when like they set me down or like do something in their like, cause like I said, I was like listening to their plans basically. And so eventually I like open my eyes all the way up, and like I look over at the the, the mom demon. um and I'm like thinking, I'm like, I gotta like punch this one. I was like, I gotta punch this one or this one to get them off of me, so this way I can like run, try to go back up the stairs and see if the door's back, like the door to heaven is back on the stairs, and see if I can like escape through that again. But then I'm thinking, I'm like,